Hello again, everybody. It is Gordon Majak here, back with another episode of Timeless Pop, Rock, and Soul on a Saturday afternoon, and that means Saturday Triple Play. That's where I take one of the most popular artists on the channel. In this case today, it is the legendary band Supertramp, and I play three in a row, three of my favorite songs by that artist that you guys have responded to in terms of the number of views of their previous videos. And Supertramp sits right there in the top 10 on the channel. And man, they are in my heart and soul and on my mind today. I have been in a Supertramp state of mind, I guess is what you would call it. A spacey state, a state of mind for Supertramp, man. Such a unique vibe. You know, I love these guys to death. Had a great personal experience with them back there in 1979 on that Breakfast in America tour when I got to meet the band the day after seeing them twice, 2 nights in a row, back to back. You want to know how big Supertramp was there in 1979? People say they weren't this or they weren't that. Hey, check this out. 1979, spring of 79, Supertramp did 30,000 plus in Seattle over the course of 2 concerts, okay? Yeah, I think you got to be pretty freaking big to pull 30 plus back in the 70s in a market the size of Seattle, all right? Supertramp had the #1 album, Breakfast in America. That's how big they were. The #1 album for 6 weeks, okay? The #1 album in the country for 6 weeks at the same time that they're pulling 30 plus in Seattle. Yeah, that's about as big as it got in 1979. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. There was a moment there where this was the biggest band on the planet. And man, did they ever put it all together on this record. Saw him twice in a row, as I said. Got to meet him the next day before they got out of town. What a great bunch of guys. Roger Hodgson in particular, just an absolute prince of a man. He made that possible. And so that is where we are going. We are going to the Breakfast in America tour, the Breakfast in America album, and the title track, a Roger Hodgson composition, with a contribution, of course, from Rick Davies. It wouldn't be a Supertramp song without that nice mix of those two personalities, right? Rick Davies and Roger Hodgson. It is the title track from the album. And now I have to confess, you know, this was a huge hit album. Every song on this album is just fantastic, right? But I always wondered, this being the title track, why didn't they lead the album off with this? I never understood why Breakfast in America, the song, was not the first song on the album. They started off with the Rick Davies song, Gone Hollywood. And I always thought, no, start with Breakfast in America and then slam into the logical song and you are off and running. But of course, what did I know? They sold a bajillion copies of this album, rightfully so. It won a Grammy, I think, for the best engineering because it sounded incredible. And yeah, #1 for a month and a half. Not a bad day's work for Supertramp. One of my favorite artists, as I've said, they're easily in my top 25. I was looking at my list of my top 25. They're easy top 25, and I'm sure higher than that. And a popular artist in your terms as well as viewers. As I said, they're in the top 10, so certainly worthy of a Saturday Triple Play. And we are going to wrap it up right here. The title track from Breakfast in America, as I said, it's a Roger Hodgson tune sung by Roger, but some great contributions, as usual, from the entire Supertramp lineup. Such a unique concoction that these guys always come up with, and this song certainly no exception. Let's go back to the spring of 79, and trust me, folks, I was there in depth. These guys were the hottest thing going for more than a minute, believe me. Come on. What a sound. Well, I almost stopped it there and rewound it because I swear to God, folks, don't you agree with me? This should have been, this is a perfect album, okay? I'm not criticizing the album, but this should have been the opening song. You start this album, this is where you start this album, right here. Boom, first note. Boom, that's how the album's got to start. Ah, you're just instantly just killing people right out of the gate with that opening sound of that piano. Then you blast into Logical Song and you just continue the flow of the rest of the album. You take what would have been the first song, or what was the first song there, Gone Hollywood, and move it somewhere else on the record. But God, every time I hear this, I always just think this is where the album should have begun. I know, what do I know? Supertramp. They knew what they were doing. Okay, it's a classic record. I get it. It's perfect the way it is. I'm just saying it could have been a little bit more perfect. That's all I'm saying. I love that song. It's such a cool song. Yeah, I just think, God, man, they could have just, what a way to start the album. So yeah, my program there, I tried to show you as many of the pictures as I could of the guys in the band. Just such an incredible band. Okay, so now it has the tour dates here. Let's see. So that was April, would have been the 17th and 18th, it looks like. April 17th and 18th of 79 on the Breakfast in America tour. And that's when I met them there that next day. And any more good pictures of the band here? It doesn't look like it. But yeah. There we go. Supertramp, Breakfast in America. That title track, always loved that one. Man, I could have created a segue with that. Slam right into the Logical Song, and we are off and running. But yeah, as I said earlier there, folks, don't let anybody tell you any different. There was a hot minute plus. There was a stretched time there. And it wasn't just this song, of course. You've got the Logical Song, as I said, Take the Long Way Home, Goodbye Stranger, Child of Vision, Lord Is It Mine, Casual Conversations. What's the other Rick Davies song that I'm not thinking of? Nervous Wreck. Everyone's a nervous wreck. Just another nervous wreck. I mean, what a great record. Just a stone cold classic Supertramp album. And really, as I said, even though I know they continued on after this and they did Famous Last Words, and I actually saw them on that tour as well. And I forgot about that. I saw them on Roger Hodgson's Going Away tour. And I completely slipped my mind until just this moment. That was like... This was 79. I think that was 81. They did Famous Last Words. And they came to Seattle again. They just did one show by then. That album wasn't as good, and I don't think the strength of the songs. It was obvious that was around the time that Supertramp was looking to do other things individually, and you could sort of tell because clearly a big letdown from this album to that one. So if you go from 79, as I said here, with Breakfast America back to 74 for Crime of the Century, that span of 5 years and those 4 albums, Crime of the Century, Crisis, What Crisis, even in the quietest moments, in this one, Breakfast in America, that is just about as good as it gets for some cool, progressive pop rock, such a dynamic signature sound, such a unique sound. Nobody sounds like Supertramp. Just an incredible run they had there, and so blessed and fortunate that I got to see them and experience them the way I did, and got turned on to them relatively early there in that run, so I could really enjoy all of it with them. And boy, did I ever. Definitely one of my favorite artists, and someone, as I said, that I feel so connected to these guys, and that sound, man, is just always there in me. And when you get in that certain mood when only Supertramp will do, like I have been in lately, that's where we had to go today. There you go, folks. Part 1, it was Sister Moonshine. What a great song from a great album, Crisis, What Crisis. Part 2, a mind blower. I mean, Loverboy. How good is Loverboy, right? From Even in the Quietest Moments. And here in part 3, it is the title track of Breakfast in America, what should have been the first song on the album. Just try it, folks. Just program the CD to play it with this as the first song. Trust me, you'll like the album even better. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed our Saturday triple play. Supertramp. Love these guys, man. What a group. Great bunch of guys. They were certainly, as I said before, so nice to me back then. Entertaining me for a little while there, as it were. In 1979, when I got to say hello to the band Supertramp, God, I want to go just crank these guys on the stereo because these CDs, the Supertramp records, they just sound so phenomenal. They're so well produced and so well engineered, and the mixing, everything is just absolutely flawless on these records. Crank it up, man. They're right there with Steely Dan. That stuff sounds so good. I'm going to go hit some right now. See ya. Supertramp. Wow. Loverboy. Breakfast in America and Sister Moonshine. Got to see him do all of those, man. That's 3 huge ones from the concert right there. Great stuff. Long live Supertramp.